Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. Tonight, we come at you live with a USA Trucks Sprint qualifier to help set the field for tonight's main event. And we do have James in the booth here with me,
Heyo.
and I'm sure you're pretty proud to see that at the front of the field with Kourting Brothers Motorsport number 30 on the front row.
Yeah, that's a nice sight. Pretty happy to see Tasha up there with our new sponsor starting next year, Tricks. So hopefully we'll get a good result with that one.
We did get to see Tasha make it through the sprint qualifier last week, so it seems like she's on a bit of a roll right now. She's going to be starting alongside Ryan White here.
Yeah, and
Um,
she was on track for a pretty good result last week with until things kind of went sideways.
right, with
So
super speedway racing, it's always unpredictable. And then these two are going to be tough to keep in third and fourth. We've seen Whitmore qualify out in sprint qualifiers before, and Ace Vaden as well. And then, oh, that's actually kind of an interesting way to go through the starting lineup here. I haven't done this before. Looks like Wyatt Wilkinson starting in the top 10. That ain't going to be half bad. You got Cannon Gage there in the 5. That would be Kyle Ottawa in the 92. The other Kourting Brothers Motorsport entry of AJ Kosnoff. This will be his final year in the truck. Do you have anything to add to that, James, as being part
um,
holder in the Kourting Brothers side of things?
we're a little disappointed to part ways. We were hoping to pick Kostanov up in the draft for ARCA. Um, we had a few people in mind for ARCA, but honestly, uh, a lot of teams picked up the people we were hoping to pick up. So
So it'll be interesting to see
yeah,
what.
it'll be interesting to see how the ARCA season works out because we had our eyes on like 2, 3 people, and all 3 of them got taken out from under us. That's not to say we're not happy with
Gentlemen,
Logan Nagy,
start
but
your engines.
just surprising to see that our picks got taken
It
so
shows the
quickly.
talent that they are, having that much talent behind them that people are seeing that.
Well, especially when you consider one of them was Taylor Kourting. She's only 16. She hasn't really proven anything. She was just kind of thrown in the draft. She doesn't have truck experience, just those last few ARCA races
But she
people were going off of. But she
looks
looks really strong there.
right.
So it's understandable why she was picked up. It's just it puts us in a weird spot when it comes time for us to draft.
I had a bit of a gut feeling that we would have went ahead and unplugged my stream deck here in hopes that this could help. Road
Seems to be
courses are they're
the,
tough.
just the road courses on these. Yep.
That's the next goal, is to get a new computer, and it's not anytime soon, but it's gonna be much needed.
This is what you need the sponsorship for, Jacob. This is when you start shilling.
I'm kind of surprised here. Ryan White started on the front row, and he's dropped all the way back to 4th in the first lap here. I think once my computer kind of gets sorted here, we should be a little bit cleaner. The track itself hasn't completely loaded into random access memory, I would imagine.
Yeah, this almost feels like the type of place where you could turn off if you wish you could turn off like some of the background objects.
I wonder, can I do that without
Mm,
sharing things?
I Yeah, no, you can't put it on. No. Oh, I guess. Yeah, that should save us a few. That might bring us up. Oh, there we go. It's bringing us up a little bit.
It's getting up to about 15 frames per second.
It's
17
part.
is the cap. I don't
It
know if
might
we
still
need the
have to load.
shadows. I might be
Yeah,
able to actually disable the shadows while we're live here too.
yeah. This is why it's nice to have the shadows from on ground from cars.
Oh, there we go. Well, give it a minute here.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Well, I think it's about as good as it's going to get for now, but
It,
doesn't look near
it's
as
better.
pretty.
Hey, when we can't see much of the outside world on this track, it looks better.
Well, Tasha's holding the early lead here in the sprint qualifier.
I didn't catch how many laps this sprint qualifier was.
16 laps, so we got 14 to go. Tasha with the fastest lap so far early on. Looks like Ace Maiden trying to catch up to her here. Yeah, this is kind of a pregame for the Music Fest Grand Prix next week. Getting a test trial on streaming on a road course. At least we can get our bugs worked out right now, so that we'll have the best case scenario for our Music Fest Grand Prix. And for those of you that are watching, yeah, next week it's only well, not next. What is today? 8th. So the rest
Yes.
of this week will
Today
go
is
by, and then it'll be the 18th and the 19th of October that we'll be doing the Music Fest Grand Prix. So it's coming. Willow Blake won our best looking paint scheme vote, so that locks her into the main event without having to go through the heats to make it. Definitely Willow Blake's been on the radar, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, Willow Blake. Wow. Willow Blake has had a really good season, so it's no wonder.
She definitely put up a good fight with Wyatt Wilkinson throughout the ARCA series this season. Our first actual inaugural ARCA champion, Wyatt Wilkinson, here in 2024. So that's a milestone. I mean, we've been knocking off all kinds of milestones in the last 2 years. Another intriguing one to me is we might have our first candidate that's worked their way up the ladder, fighting for. He's obviously holding down the points lead in the Cup Series right now, but your 2023 Busch Light champion, Al Bunch, looking to become the 2024 Sigma Cup champion as well.
I mean, Al Bunch has been strong all the way throughout everything he's driven in Sigma.
Right. He had that 1 year. Last year was just like an off year. And it was even stranger that he was in decent equipment. LFG Motorsports, no slouch by any means. But I don't think he got much more than a top 5 here or there. And very few top 10s even to add on to that. It was very strange. All of a sudden, put him in a Jaguar, and he's on a 12 race win season. Those are statistics that are usually unheard of in a standard season.
Sometimes you just need a change of scenery.
Right? Yeah, definitely. It looks super nice on the track, Tasha. And usually I'm one for, what's the word I'm thinking? Um, when it's the same on two sides. But for this one, I love that it's got some character to it, that it's not completely identical. What's symmetrical? That's the word I was looking for. You know, forget about being symmetrical. It just looks cool.
Well,
Besides,
I don't know if you noticed it, but in the middle of the roll bars on the back on the bed,
oh,
there is the actual there is another like one of the rabbits.
oh
It's
really?
it's the actual rabbit jumping. There you go.
Oh, yep, yep. Actually, maybe if we do the helicopter cam
It
here.
it'll show it down the front stretch.
That's way too high up.
There we go.
Yeah.
She was originally gonna have that on the side, and I had her kind of move it.
It's kind of like, it reminded me of just something random that came to mind, Virtual Magic Kingdom, where you go around finding hidden Mickey Mouses. I don't know if you ever played that game or not. Does it ring a bell?
No.
It was actually like a game put together by Disney where you could go around just like a live chat room and stuff. But of course they kept it, you know, they would, you know, it's for kids, so they had to do a lot of censoring. You couldn't say states or your name or any of that kind of stuff. It would actually censor those out whenever you type them in. As kind of
Huh.
interesting how they worked that. But the whole thing, you'd go around, do all, it was like Disneyland. You were basically this little digital character walking around Disneyland, and you go find hidden Mickeys and build your own little personal, um, you know, your own little personal game room inside the game. It was kind of, it was definitely a lost. I had to dig deep into my brains, but when I saw the hidden bunny rabbit there, it reminded me of all the hidden Mickeys for whatever reason.
No, the only Disney game I can think of is Toontown.
Oh, I did play that one. I didn't get to play it much because it was a subscription base. I'd usually get like some free, um, like a free trial, and I'd play it until I ran out of the free trial. We did have World of Warcraft forever, me and my
I
brother,
think
when we were growing up, but
that's what my family did. Was I think I just use it on free trial.
yeah. Dang, Tasha's stretching it out here. Halfway through the sprint qualifier, fastest lap changed hands here though. Drew Clue in the number 02 truck, running in fourth there, knocked out the fastest lap. So keep your eyes on that 02 truck. We've got the 1, the 01, the 02, and then you got the 70 behind that throws the whole chain off there. Yeah, some of our other drivers that were kind of ones to watch. I thought Wilkinson would maybe drive through the field here. It seems like he's kind of settled in where he qualified at in 12th.
Well, I really feel like I don't know why, and I'm not. I feel like with road courses, the AI really struggles with knowing when the places to pass are.
Which that's where I wish I was recording everything I did when I edited the one track that we're going to be racing at for the Music Fest Grand Prix, because I edited that thing to perfection. I would go in and test the track, see if they would wreck each other. Um, but ultimately, the testing I had come to learn would allow them to run right up to their back bumper, and if they got a good enough opening, they would kind of push them out of the way and pass them. So if there's anything to be hyped up about, it's going to be this Music Fest race next week. Looks like Ace Vaden is caught up to Tasha here. Things are going to get a little bit topsy-turvy for the top positions, it looks like. Yeah, the silly season's getting interesting. I'm liking the Kourting brothers. They're going to be coming the Chevy. We have not had a Chevy flagship team in our series, I would say, since Calvin Steel Racing circa 2019. So Chevy's kind of been missing on, on the championship presence here for the past 5 years. So
And it's not to say we haven't had Chevy teams that are good. They've just had bad luck or just fallen short.
well, and it blows me away in the truck still that we have only seen since 2022. Chevy has only secured one truck win. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, you'd think with all the trucks in the truck series that they would manage to squeeze out one more than once every 2 years now.
And it's definitely ooh, here we go. A move for third place materializing here with Drew Clue getting alongside the 01 there. The 01 being that of Zach Moorwhite. Ooh, and he's got the preferred line going into this turn. It looks like the 01's going to hold him off here. But as I was going to say, it kind of feels like, there's certain manufacturers that just have the extreme edge here in the truck series. Honda, Toyota, Volkswagen, heck, all the foreign truck manufacturers really have that factor.
Well, and it feels like they all have at least some tie to a big name here in the truck series.
Right?
It doesn't really feel like Chevy has somebody like that.
Well, and that's going to be kind of a gradual effect here in the truck series as KBM is going to stick with Volkswagen. Am I correct?
No, KBM's going Chevy.
Okay, so they're going to drop Volkswagen in the trucks too.
Yeah, they're going Chevy all the way through.
Gotcha.
They're going to be flagship all the way through. That's why we're maxing out in everywhere.
That's what Chevy's been missing, honestly, in the truck series. It's going to be, it's going to be tough with a stout lineup such as Tim Kourting, Tasha Wright, and I'm trying to think of the other drivers you got lined out. You got Logan Nagy. Is he in the trucks or in ARCA?
Logan Nagy is in ARCA right now. We haven't really discussed anything about trucks yet.
Gotcha.
I know one of my friends joined the server and has intentions of joining my truck team, but that leaves me with still 3 trucks left to fill.
Well,
not counting Logan Nagy.
If you need help, I can start giving you some directions on open drivers that probably need a seat. We can make something work. 6 trucks definitely, 3 of which need a driver. We haven't really done any, but if we could sweeten the pot and find some drivers to hop in KBM Chevys, those are going to be, the contenders up against the Trevor Ventures or the LFG Motorsports.
Well, the team's been gone for basically a year. They've done a great job of rebuilding. Obviously, we have something put together with tricks with Tasha leading this sprint qualifier right now, having led every lap so far. But it's still a rebuilding process now. So Audi was kind of left high and dry, and they're not happy about that, which is fair. So Chevy was more than happy to bring a legacy name here in Sigma to their, their camp and give KBM a chance at, another chance.
Right?
So
No,
hopefully it'll all work out next season.
it's gonna
But
be
yeah, 3
exciting.
spots.
So Tasha still leading, and Ace Vaden keeping it close here. It's not like she's getting away from him.
No, he's keeping it really close. She just seems to have a little bit of an edge over him.
Yeah, if I had to guess, let's look and see some drivers that are with Chevy right now that need a home. Honestly, William Whitmore, I would probably lobby to try and get him to join KBM movement. That's it's a stellar performance driver right there. Although he does have his own team, so I am not actually scratch that because he's got his own truck team, and I don't know if he would be willing to part from his truck team. Ryan White right now I think is racing on a different team, so he could be one to look for. Can Engage definitely. I would sign him in a heartbeat. Can Engage needs a boost in that performance department, and
Could just
he's got
drive
the
for
sponsor to come with him. My Mochi is tied to him as the driver, so um, maybe we can look into maybe getting some silly season talks for the trucks there.
Yeah, there's plenty of people. All I've wanted is people that are active. That's all I'm looking for. People that are looking to, help us grow some more.
Well, and I think if he could get in a winning vehicle, he would be tuning in weekly to catch his races, because that's the only problem is that truck that he's been in is not the greatest of equipment, but with a
Well,
KBM Chevy.
I remember when he joined a year ago. He wasn't bad. He was running up towards like the middle to the front.
Right? No, he was, and it's kind of fallen off a cliff lately. But yeah, this year has been a little bit rougher than last year. I think was when he joined, right? Last year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And he was a stout contender. He actually, in Bridge to Cup this year, was fighting for a championship and came up short for the overall championship that night. Trucks has been a different story for a lot of drivers. It's crazy how the racing skills don't necessarily cross over to this truck series for some of the drivers. Let's take, for example, well, obviously, like I was talking about, Can Engage, where he was a top 8 driver in Bridge to Cup Championship, has really struggled to finish top 20 in the trucks alone this season. So he must have put more research and development into his Bridge to Cup program. And I mean, who wouldn't? That's
Yeah,
a
that's a ticket.
yeah.
Golden ticket right there.
Wilkinson, your ARCA champion, and has not got this truck thing figured out. So yeah, trucks. That's why what I like about trucks is it's its own thing. It's kind of its own entity altogether. Not a really good gauge in the sprint qualifier because these are most of the drivers. Well, you got Nate Newman there, who's a Cup regular right now, and he's been a stout Rookie of the Year contender and could very well be your 2024 Sigma Cup Rookie of the Year. and he struggles here in the trucks. So
Well, and let's not remember we do technically have a cup ride open right now.
right,
So I mean, just because Tim and Tom are stopping their double dipping doesn't mean they wouldn't sign somebody new to maybe give them an opportunity to try their double dipping and see what works better for them
yeah.
in good equipment.
No, it's gonna be an interesting new year in 2025. I'm getting excited for it. Well, here we go. This is the checkered flag as she rolls across, winning the sprint qualifier here tonight. Makes it on to the main event. Her and Ace Vaden both qualify into the field of 42. Unfortunately, not for Zach Moorwhite, Drew Clue, or Jason So. Drew Clue had the fastest lap, but just didn't have anything he could do with it. All these other drivers behind him are going to have to pack it up and head on to the next race. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do some house cleaning on some of these trucks for next season. There's a few drivers that filled in to a driver that left the series. I'm sure Cal Anderson would want a different paint scheme. So some of these trucks and drivers, I'm gonna
Well, and
reach out.
that helps with the combo shifting.
Right. We'll figure out where they'll land for next year. So maybe it's a good luck charm that Tasha's debuting her brand new paint scheme here tonight. And it's nice that I think the game actually did start to clear up a little bit for us. We should be good for the main event here tonight.
While you get the main event set up, I'm gonna step away and grab a drink real quick.
Alrighty. Oh, I forgot minus one other driver, so the 01 makes it into the main event tonight as well, after the absence of Jack Ross in the series, so that will bring Zach Morewhite to the main event here tonight. Wrong 30. We need to make sure we've got. There we go.
Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
While we wait for James to get back, I'm going to go ahead and get through our starting lineup here. Starting on the front row, you've got Tim Kourting and Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker, your current points leader, and Tim Kourting on a tear lately, trying to catch up to Jordan. He's going to be keeping it interesting here for the championship finale as those two duke it out. You don't want to count out the Trevors. Trevor Walker and Trevor Vaden both very much mathematically in the fight here. Those two teammates starting side by side. And then the final Trevor Ventures entry starting in 5th there with Alan Malcolm alongside Chris Harvey. Chaz Chadwick and his teammate there, Noah Hobson. Tom Kourting and Kyler Sustre. James Gunner and Tasha Wright starting in the top 10 here. Brian DeBlanc and Alex Sanvital. Skylar Taylor and Gannon Bird. Matthew Fastnaught and Ant Meeperson. Ace Vaden, who came through the sprint qualifier alongside Bradley Ream. Zach Magoon and Spinham Walker. Al Bunch and Adam Cruz. Andrew Moger and Lynn Farrell. Zach Morewhite came through the sprint quali as well, alongside Ralph Oberstadt, John Hagan, Guido Piano, Kat Durham, Dave Steele Jr., Willow Blake, Anheuser Wagner, Bailey Parker, Eli the Wolf, Jeffrey Gerald, Andre Stefan, David Bird, Braden Hunt, Shy Turtle, and Rich Roy rounding out the field here tonight.
All right. Hi, I'm back. Do we want to cover some headlines?
We are through the lineup, so I'll go ahead and get the race started here for you.
Yeah.
What headlines you talking about?
I don't know. I was just talking in general.
Oh, well, the top headline definitely being Tim Kourting trying to catch up to the Walker brothers.
Well, he missed that opportunity last time out, so.
Could have knocked it out of the park even more so than what he did.
Which last race helped him a bit, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say as much as, putting away that win.
Pretty much most of your drivers that are in the event here made it into the top 10, so KBM doing well with qualifying here today. And with little hesitation, Tim Kourting taking over the early lead, Kind of chop blocks right there in front of the points leader, Jordan Walker.
He says, "Why don't you put it out with your teammate there for me?"
This has been unlike anything I've ever seen in our truck series. Those 4 trucks are on something, my man. Trevor Ventures. And it's been even more entertaining to watch them as they all race heads up against each other. Jordan Walker, the winningest of them this season. Yet Trevor Vaden and Trevor Walker both had about 5 to 4 wins apiece. They just didn't have 7 wins like Jordan Walker did.
So my only thought, Jacob, right now is starting next year in 2025, the Trevor Ventures team will have 6 trucks. KBM will have 6 trucks. Chadwick's team will have 6 trucks.
It's almost looking
People
like
are gonna be tired of these 3 teams swapping the dominant. I have a feeling.
I mean, you think about it, that's kind of your Hendricks, your Joe Gibbs, your
Penske.
Penske, yeah, for the most part. And we can all kind of agree that they mostly have 5 cars because each
Yeah.
of them have a satellite team of some sort.
Or in Penske's case, I guess, really, just under the charter minimum with 3.
True, but they're kind of allianced with
That's what I was talking about with the
Wood Brothers.
With the Wood Brothers charter. I was talking about the Wood Brothers charter. That makes it.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm liking how this championship battle is going to play out. We've got some very intriguing tracks to keep things, fresh and fascinating down the final stretch. After tonight from Kyalami, we will head to Rockingham in the UK. So there is a Rockingham racetrack in the UK, a British Rockingham, believe it or not. I didn't know such a thing existed. It's an oval track there in Britain, just like the real Rockingham. It's not near as big. So it's going to be interesting to see how these trucks fare around. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we go to Rockingham, it's Twin Ring Motegi. So you got that. Then you've got some short tracks at Mallory Park in Britain. Jukasa Motor Speedway in Canada. Both of those are going to be 250 lap short tracks. And then Ricky Raceway to wrap it all up at the end of the season.
So we got a wild set of races for the next 5 races here.
Right? Well, and I thought we were kind of done with the wild cards. Last week when we went to Euro Speedway, it was kind of a wild card. The way that the outside line prevailed, that was a weird development for that race. Because if I remember right, it was like whenever they'd get stuck in lap traffic, they'd go high and they would actually pass the driver. And the outside line was a lot faster than the inside line. So even trying to pass the lap traffic on the inside was problematic because it would put the slower traffic in the fast lane and then they'd drive right around the leader. So it was definitely interesting. At least Tim Kourting came out on top, and he's taking some bites out of this points lead, but it's very hard to take any bigger of a chomp out of the points lead when your contenders are right there behind you.
Well, it's not like it used to be. It's not like there's a cutoff race.
No.
He's got to keep chomping at the bit for these guys for the next 5 races, and they keep running on his neck. They're not even chomping at his heels. They're just chomping at his neck at this point.
Yeah, this could very well go down in the record books as one of the most contending drivers for the championship at the end of a season. We've got 6 drivers all within 1 race of the lead. So that's saying something right there.
Well, and Tim's already taken 2 of the wins,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not even towards the top of the leaderboard for this.
Oh shoot, I was mistaken. I thought Tim won last week. It was not Tim, it was Trevor Walker. My bad.
Yeah.
I forgot. Dang. I'm off my
I got
game.
you. Give me a minute, and I got you. I'll give everybody a refresher of what our current situation is.
Yeah, had Tim won that race last week, he would have won the back-to-back 2 races. But yeah, Trevor came out like gangbusters and found victory that race.
All right, currently, as it sits, with 181 points, Jordan Walker. Second place is Trevor Walker with 174 points. Sitting in third currently is Tim Kourting with 161. Behind that is Chaz Chadwick with 136. Alex Sanvital with 125. Trevor Vaden with 122. Alan Malcolm with 106. Guido Piano with 94. Ant Me Person 93. Gannon Bird 82. Matthew Fastenal at 73. Jeffrey Gerald 65. David Steele in 13th with 59. James Gunner behind that with 58. Al Bunch with 56. Zach Magoon with 47. Brian Blank with 40. Spinham Walker with 39. Noah Hobson with 28. And in last in the points right now, we have Bradley Ream with 17 points.
So yeah, realistically, the top 6 very much all still alive, and I think all 6 of those drivers running right now in the top 6. Yep, right there. So 6 of the stoutest drivers fighting for the wins each week. This race might very well come down to pit strategies tonight.
Well, I think next year we could potentially see a world where maybe all 20 are close the whole way through.
Yeah, so many of these teams, the research and development has gone a long way from year to year. We used to be, it was really only about, one flagship team, and it honestly, I think the first flagship team we had was LFG Motorsports. Right out of the gate, they were strong, they were contenders, and of course, Chaz Chadwick has failed to actually win the championship every year. Your second flagship team would have been coming about the Kourting Brothers, or what is now known as Kourting Brothers Motorsports. I can't remember, what was the first iteration of the team?
It was just Tim.
Oh yeah, TKM, right? Total
Yeah,
Knockout.
Yep, Total Knockout Motorsports, TKM.
Yep. And so TKM and KBM are the same.
Yeah, and it was really kind of a slow burn. That's kind of how Chadwick beat us to the punches, because we had kind of a slower feel like I had a slower development process than what he did. I went for more of a let's get some currency and be able to make big moves, whereas
right.
he was making medium moves every few races.
No, I can see
So
that.
it was taking me long. It was taking me longer to put together money than it was for him to upgrade every few races because he was already at the front.
And so you're kind of seeing, you know, all of that, you know, the sum adding to the equation here, where things have kind of hit this you know, equal playing field of sorts that everyone's.
Well, right, because then you have the Walker brothers that were kind of watching both of them develop, and then came about and were like, okay, now we're here. Hi,
Right.
we saw what you guys were doing. Now we've got this. That we've got this figured out. Move aside, old man. The future is now.
On so many of these drivers that were, you know, kind of lining up that Trevor Vaden was one of those drivers that was super excited to hop in a Trevor Ventures ride because knowing the prestige, knowing the power behind the wheels there. Obviously the Audi situation kind of threw a bit of a wrinkle with the Kourting brothers and didn't give us the greatest scope on a season for 2024. But this just puts us in a better scenario for 2025, I think.
Well, and I feel like it gave everybody else a better chance to develop.
Yeah.
Because
What?
I feel like if the Kourting brothers run the whole season, we run the risk of seeing more of what we already saw. And that's how things kind of get boring and stale. But now we gave everybody a chance to kind of level the playing field a little bit more.
And this, I mean, this is kind of, it's crazy to say it because it's almost more of a David versus David, but maybe it's even a little bit more of a David versus Goliath here in 24 for Tim Kourting, knowing that he doesn't have quite the same help with teammates at the moment with the turmoil of the team, that he's kind of a one-man show here at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tom's in the playoff. He's in the fight, but
He's in the race. Yeah, he's right there in ninth.
he's in the race. He's locked in, but like he's not in the fight for the championship. And he's not even having the same luck in the 50 car as Tim had. Like he's just not having as good of a season. Like so.
But he's not having a bad season
No,
either. It's just
no, not at all. He's just not having the greatest success at getting back to it. Whereas Tim hit the ground running.
and then, you know, it's like putting Tim back in you know, old pair of shoes. He knows where to walk and how to get it. And he pretty much, you know, right out of the gates, running up front, top five, ended up winning on a dirt track, which we've seen him do so many times before.
Exactly, wasting no time getting back at it. Says I may be down, but I still got a championship to win. There's still a shot I can win this thing. We're not out.
Well, and I also wanted to make this note right here as we look at the 50 running in ninth. That's KBM. You got LFG, LFG, TV, LFG, TV, 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 and KBM. So
Hold on, that's just the top 9. Let's just go a little bit further back.
in 10th, we do have, well, that's the entire LFG team, other than, I think they're missing one driver, the 15. And other than Tasha, where she's running in, looks like 13th at the moment. 10th place belongs to Satellite, I think it's BSM or something, or Quantum. It's Kyler Sestre's team. I'd have to, Beacon Quantum Motorsports, BQM. And then the 93 there, that is a Fastnot Racing Enterprises FRE number 93.
Maybe that's the mandatory for next year for trucks. On the deck lids, you have to start running the team logos.
Well, and I've got them on the, like that one there. You can see the TSI on the back. But I
At
haven't.
least maybe put that in substitute of the Under Armour logo. That might be a possibility.
Yeah. The only
That might
thing
be
is,
a neat possibility.
I haven't made up a team logo for FRE. So Fast Not Racing Enterprises is gonna need a, and I'll have to maybe look into making some team logos for each team, just so that everyone's got kind of a placeholder team logo.
Well, and we are running things under team banners and stuff, so it helps to know who's where.
Right. Well, and I think that goes
With
to show you why our top 9 are all. Oh wow, no Hobson's there, so that means, okay, so all of LFG's there in the top, because I think they're only at a 3 truck. But okay, yeah. No, it just goes to show you though, the teams that are running up front, that's where all the money's at right now.
Yeah. Well, and with each team having 6 cars next season, it's gonna be, that's 3 on each side of the spectrum. So we could see a world where maybe, 9 spots out of the 20 from, or out of the 10 from each side are coming from these 3 teams.
Very reminiscent of like Venturini in the ARCA series, you know. It
Yeah,
it
you
goes to
really
show you.
kind of hate to see it, but on the other hand, once the 2 sides come together, we're gonna have some amazing racing.
Hey, I'm all for it. We've finally established our, our threshold here with, I mean, for the truck series even, which is one of our, first rungs on the ladder.
After that, it's just a matter of finding tracks where these guys can make mistakes, where we can get underdog wins and stuff.
Which we have seen that on the West Coast, because the West Coast seems to have a lot of those oddball tracks that don't really get very well crafted in NR2003.
Part of me still wants us to introduce the new auto club to everybody.
Oh, the short track, yeah.
I think it'd do really well on the truck series.
It can honestly 40, right, or 42.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd say it's a big thought. Honestly, season opener would be awesome.
I mean, I've opened my season at California Fontana before.
I think it'd be a cool opener for the trucks, honestly.
Well, and we would do it as the West opener, since we have been using Armory Digital Super Speedway as the West opener, but we could maybe, we'd have to do some testing, make sure the racing lives up to, the Sigma standard and all that, which I'm sure it does. I've seen some good racing there before.
Right, and like I said, I've run a full distance like cup race, like half distance cup race there. It's pretty solid racing.
Hey, we got Tom Kourting moving up a spot into 8th here. Chris Harvey still holding on solidly in 7th. Last week's winner, Trevor Walker, in 6th. So Tim Kourting doing pretty much max points as they would be running on track with the max points that they can get, if that made sense. I mean, this is best case scenario for Tim to have the guy that won last week be running 6th amongst the top 6 in points. I do feel like this could very well come down to almost like a Cars-esque moment where we have, other than maybe 3 drivers, we could almost have 6 drivers tied.
Okay, so Jordan has an exact 20-point lead over Tim and a 7, just barely 7-point lead over Trevor. That is the situation with the top three.
So honestly, at this point, we need Jordan Walker to drop to 6th and have him finish behind his brother if we were gonna get like all those differentials equalized.
Yeah, the way this sits right now, although Tim doesn't necessarily want to see Jordan finish 3rd, it's not the worst case scenario right now. That's honestly best case scenario, because then Trevor is definitely going to fall behind him on points. Which means there's only one thing left to focus on for him, and that's just beating Jordan.
I'm gonna be keeping an eye on this field once green flag pit stops start happening. We have gone green all the way since the start. In case any of you are new to Sigma rules, we do not throw cautions at the road courses. Help to expedite the racing process and get it over with quicker, rather than dragging it on with mundane cautions that take 5 minutes to get back to green on a on a road course. We have lost one truck, the 87 of Al Bunch. Ooh, wow. I missed that one. Al Bunch is a title contender on lap 1 out of the race. I apologize to Al Bunch if you're watching that we failed to catch this earlier. Must have been only him involved. 3 wide right there, that's never a good sign in a road course.
Oh, and I see what's about to happen. Yep.
Oh, Ace Vaden, bam.
Oh, they done.
That's a tough break.
Yeah, that's a tough break. Just gets turned coming into the corner.
And that's definitely going to make things a lot harder for Mr. Bunch there to fight for this Trucks Championship. Luckily, no one else was involved. It was a singular truck accident there.
I'm not gonna lie, Jacob. I like the standings on the Sigma website a lot better than I do the actual point standings. I like those a lot better.
Oh, whoa, whoa, we did miss something here. Let's just go back a lap.
Yeah, things got spicy.
Evidently, when I rewound there, kind of upset the apple cart. Tim Kourting gets dive bombed here by the 20. Oh, and maybe even a tad bit of contact there from Vaden.
I think I see a little bit of a wheel mark there on the bottom.
Ooh, he's giving him no room. He is running Tim Kourting off the track there. I think Tim's gonna get by Jordan Walker here. But that might just have lit a fire under Tim Kourting's keister. That bold of a move for the lead change. That's
That was bold.
and now Vaden's starting to kind of stretch it out here. We'd seen so many laps prior that Vaden was getting a great run down the front stretch. Oh, and this time the 10 of Jordan Walker utilizing the same move that his teammate made there.
Maybe Tim was using up too much tire leading.
May have.
You can kind of see a little bit of a mark
On the right-hand side.
Yep, on the quarter panel. Just barely, it's just barely noticeable.
Alrighty, now we've settled into a bit of a mix-up here. It kind of makes you wonder if maybe Tim Kourting's laying up a little bit to maybe stretch it some, change up the pit strategy a little bit. But at the same time, like you mentioned, I do think he may have used up his tires leading. That's one thing, you end up burning more gas and kind of running through your tires a little bit harder at the front of the field. Definitely a whole lot of racing to go here. There's a lot that can change from lap to lap. Looks like Trevor Walker with the fastest lap so far, even though he's running back there in 6th. Let's see if anyone else has cracked into the top 10 here. Well, Alex Sanvital, one of your title contenders, has cracked into the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Tasha still running solidly in 14th. This is going to be a good run for her.
Head down pit lane there.
Alrighty, first round of pit stops underway here. Noah Hobson, one of your first takers from in the top 10. And it's on lap 19 here. Ooh, lead change yet again as Jordan Walker takes over from Trevor Vaden. So I guess we can look at it this way. They pitted on lap 19. They'll be on their out lap on lap 20. So they can make it to about 2, 4, 6, lap 60 of 72. These other drivers that want to try to stay out, they're almost going to have to stay out probably to lap... Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen. If they could stay out to lap 26... No, they're not going to stay out to lap 26. There's no way. Lap 21 there. So it's really not going to be much of a fuel mileage race here today. Because they're still going to have easily about anywhere from 12 to 10 laps to the good.
Should be interesting then.
But what is going to be the factor here is the undercut, overcut scenario. So we had those drivers that pitted early. They're going to be able to get out there on fresher tires, run fast laps. These guys that are staying out the longest here, it's going to be tough for a lap or two, but then once they get up to speed, they'll start catching up to those on older tires. The fall off not too bad here at Kyalami. Looks like the lap times have dropped by about 2.5 seconds from their fast times, so you're not going to see that much of a disparity between the fresher tires versus the older tires.
Be interesting to see who throws in the towel first to come get tires, whether it's Kourting or Walker, because I forgot my train of thought here.
Well, we did have Vaden come down already. That's actually kind of a surprise, as these guys are still staying out. Which then again, I was on the topic of saying if these guys could stay out to lap 26, they're almost to lap 23 right now. That would put them up to lap 52 instead of lap 60 on the third. So that would actually make this a 2-stop race. Yeah, so the strategies are getting interesting. We need to see someone that can stretch it to lap 26 though, because those that pit on lap 20 are gonna have to pit 3 times no matter what.
There goes Walker.
Jordan Walker down pit road. Man, this is gonna be interesting because right now at 24, that means that Tim Kourting would have to pit with 3 laps. No, it's 72 lap race. So he would make it on a 24 lap stint each time. It's basically turned into a 2-stop race at this point. So I knew I was onto something. I just had to find a calculator real quick. I was ruffling
And
around.
what my thought process was Tim was actively losing time to Walker, right there, and before Walker pitted. He was starting to lose time and hold everybody up. Because we could see Alan Malcolm behind him getting impatient.
Do you suspect he was saving fuel maybe?
I don't know. I don't know if he's still used up too much or he was just saving to see what Walker's plan was. I guess we'll find out right now.
Well, either way, he's going to make it to lap 24 here regardless. If he can make it to 25, that would give him an extra little bit of cushion here. Wow, he's going to make to lap 25.
Yeah, he's going to go for it.
So these guys right here, I think, are on the winning strategy because this is going to be a 2-stop race now for these 4 drivers. They are giving up some time. As I mentioned, they were 2.5 seconds off the pace. Let's hop over to the 20 of Trevor Vaden, who's been out on fresh tires for a couple laps here. He's about, he's 121.0. So his lap times are significantly quicker, about 1.5 seconds quicker. And that would have been 1.5 seconds quicker on both laps. So Vaden might shuffle around to the lead here shortly. But it's going to be all about who can make it with less pit stops here today. When they know that there's not going to be a caution to throw off the strategy call. And going forward next year, I'm going to try to make it a rule that if we have any oil down or anything like that, that we'll throw cautions. But this year, I'm just going to, if the track is clear and everyone's capable of running without, like a freaking parking lot in the middle of the straightaway, we'll just keep rolling. Nice. Things are getting interesting here at Kyalami.
Oh, and I just hope these guys aren't pushing it too far. Because we saw guys last week running out of fuel.
Right, yeah, that was very close. Hopefully they don't run out here right now and run them out of fuel. I'm impressed. There is really not that much fall off as we're seeing Tim Kourting still 2.5 seconds off of his fastest time here tonight. He's going to stay out again. Man, maybe we're not seeing the fuel numbers for some of these drivers. Maybe those guys that pitted already.
Maybe they're the ones that used up their tires.
Let's see. say for range? 40 laps. So yeah,
40 laps. Yeah.
they cut it down the middle way too early.
Some of those guys used up their tires.
So I guess
'Cause
another
it's gonna be-
factor, I'm thinking like deep thoughts here. Maybe some of these drivers are pitting early. You know, think about like an F1 race, except we don't have different variations of tires. But maybe
It's still the
they,
same premise.
yeah, maybe they're coming in like some drivers would come in for hard tires to go a little bit longer on their stint versus soft tires for a short run. Almost wonder if some of those drivers that pitted early want to make a longer second stint, while these guys are going to try to have their fresher tires for the last stint. Very fascinating. That's what I love about road course racing. You know, the average race fan will think that road course racing is the most boring and mundane thing, and honestly, people really get that way about F1, but it's kind of one of the things that I like about, you know, open wheel racing, IndyCar, Formula One, whatever it be. Your road course races really do come down to a game of strategy. And that's kind of what's bummed me out over the past couple years in the Cup Series with their stage racing on road courses. All your drivers know when the stage caution's coming out, so they're going to pit with 3 laps left in the stage, give up, you know,
Or
bonus points.
well, that's the problem we have at Talladega and Daytona right now. Is that everybody knows when the stages are, so nobody pushes.
Yeah. So, and it's all just an amalgamation of stage racing in a whole. That's one of the things that I like about our series is we just run, you know, we might have a race without a caution, go green flag from lap 1 to the checkered flag. And that's almost like watching a no-hitter in baseball. They don't happen very often, but it's still a spectacle to behold.
Well, and especially if somebody does it flag to flag, I mean,
Well,
yeah, it was kind of a boring race, but like, I mean, still impressive. They never made a mistake all day, never lost the lead once,
right? And
except
that would be
except for like maybe a lap or two on pit road during green flag pit stops.
yeah, that would be a perfect game if you had a driver lead every lap from the green flag to the checkered. So yeah, that in my books is, you know, we've got our no-hitter, a race that goes caution free, and perfect game, guy that goes out there and leads every lap in the race, which almost never happens. And in reality, today's current form of NASCAR never happens. You'll never see the perfect game from, well, we almost saw it from Kyle Larson at Bristol a couple of weeks back, but obviously green flag pit stops will kind of throw a wrinkle in those plans. So a very situational achievement. Have to have some situations go your way. Yeah, maybe we need to start giving out awards for that, like a money boost or something. If there's a driver that actually has a perfect race, um, that would be kind of cool to award those little bonuses
Well,
and stuff.
well, I mean, like NASCAR does that for um fastest lap and things like that. If you get to the races for the pre-race ceremonies, they're giving out the awards for that stuff.
Like from last week's race, or
Yeah. Well, they used to anyways. From
oh,
last week's race beforehand, yeah. They used to anyways.
that's cool. Well, and like back when contingency sponsors would actually pay the driver if they led a lap or did this or did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. What? Right. Like for example, usually it was Pocono before Michigan when I was a kid. They'd be like, "Oh, presenting the check by 3M to Greg Biffle for getting the fastest lap last week at Pocono." And Greg Biffle would come up and then grab it and walk off. Like, it was a whole thing. I don't know if they do it anymore. I don't remember last time I was at a cup race, the opening ceremonies. I don't remember them doing it.
When I was at Vegas last year, it was pretty cool because they had their little their stage, and they would introduce like the honorary starter, the flag person, or the sponsored flag person, not the actual NASCAR flagger, but like who would throw the green flag for the day, and who the everyone from Grand Marshal to pace car driver to this and that, and they'd walk them out. I think Rusty Wallace was there at Vegas last race that I was there, and they introduced Rusty to the stage and cheered, everyone clapped, he waved at the crowd, and then he walked off the other side of the stage.
That's kind of cool.
I think that's what they were doing for the 75th anniversary deal. They had like an honorary, like one of their top 75 drivers that they introduced at each race.
Yeah.
Greg Biffle, that's been pretty cool lately that he's going over to North Carolina and helping aid in recovery from the hurricane. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's really cool.
I got to watch Biffle race at Tri-City Raceway here in Washington this year too. That was a cool experience. So he was doing an autograph session, and only the first 200 in line would get a signed hero card. And obviously he was going to sign everything for everyone that came within the time slot. Well, I was fifth in line. I was right there. I was like, I lucked out when I walked out the gate. I was like, oh shit, that's where they're all lining up. So I walked right over there, and I was fifth in line. And then all of a sudden they opened the gates, and everyone in front of me just started running. So I'm like, oh shit, I guess I should run too. I start half-ass running my way down the racetrack to go. Of course, they put Greg Biffle, the last car, at the very end of the other side of the racetrack from me. So I ended up making it down there, and I was, about fifth in line, and got one of my my Greg Biffle diecast signed from him. So guess which diecast it was, or which year it was.
07.
Close. Add a couple years to that one.
11?
Yep. Well, it had it was the car tomorrow, so I think it's either a 2010 or a 2011.
Probably 2010, 2011, yeah.
Yep. And so I got the 3M, the old school white one. It had the car tomorrow wing on it. I got that one signed by him. I did have a Post-it car I brought with me too, but I only got the one signed. I didn't want to be one of those people that's like, can you sign all of my diecasts, and pull out, 3 different diecasts for him to sign. I did get a hero card signed by him, so that too is pretty cool. His hero card he signed with just his name, but when he signed my the diecast, he actually wrote a 16 next to his signature. So that was pretty cool. Actually, that he added his own personal touch to make it like he was signing it back when he was in the 16 car.
Yeah, that's really cool that he added that. Oh, Malcolm's going in.
Ooh,
Looks
wow.
like everybody's going in.
So the Toyotas and the Hondas must not have quite the fuel mileage here. Dodge we got pulling in. We got another Volkswagen. Where's Tasha? Tasha must have pulled in already. I don't see her anymore. So she pulled.
Tasha and Tim pulled in already as well. Or Tom.
Yeah, Tim's staying out there. Damn. Man, is he going to try to make this on one stop? I mean, that's the thing. If they can go 40 laps, I don't know why they're getting all cutesy with these alternate pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's about to lap some people too.
Because if he makes it to lap 38, and then he'll be golden. Actually, I think 36 even, he would be golden. Yeah, so he's just got to make it a couple more laps and he can run the rest of the way with what he's got. That honestly would be the winning strategy. Everyone else is going to have to pit again because they didn't make it to lap 33. Those that just pitted should be able to make it to the finish. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, Tim Kourting 2 could make it to the finish with just...
Where's our second place car?
Lynn Farrell is the next in line here. And I don't know, is he going to stay out or pit? Looks like he's pitting, so that's your second place driver. Yeah,
There we go.
Shuffle right back to Trevor
Tim.
Baden. So these guys, they're going to gain a lot of time. Yeah, Tim's going to lose a lot of time to those two in particular.
Yeah. But he's going to have some way fresher tires than them. And he can make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, if they're not hurting like we're thinking they are, they should be able to go 40 laps. We haven't seen it from anyone, but it's going to be close. See, I would have rather gone to about lap 36 to make it perfectly with, you know, halfway at the race. It's going to be close. Because, yeah, now with Tim Kourting on fresher tires, he might start to close the gap to these two. Third looks like it's going to be Chris Harvey once things have sorted out here. Fourth, that is Noah Hobson. Fifth, Kyler Sestre. Sixth, Matthew Fastnot. Seventh, Alan Malcolm. Eighth, Chaz Chadwick. And Tim Kourting shuffles back to ninth. So it's kind of the flip-flop here where he once was running first, now he's running ninth. He is still beating Trevor Walker. Tasha in the top 15 still. She's actually fighting for position there on the 32. That could be 13th if she can nab it here. Got a little bit of help from her teammate there in Tom Kourting.
Looks like he helped the other car there. Tom, what are you doing?
Well, that might be one of our hottest battles on the track right here between these four. Ooh, Tasha's just, she needs to find an open spot and start setting down some laps here again. There she goes. Lines up on the Volkswagen freight train of trucks there. Tasha might be another one of those that can make it to the finish, as 40 laps is the distance that is expected to go. And that's only on a perfect run. I mean, that's when you're conserving and saving a little bit of fuel. Top two are running 120.9. Tim Kourting, it looks like it's going to take him another lap to get a quick lap in. Not a quack lap, quick lap. Because Chaz Chadwick just in front of him turned a 120.5. So I'm imagining Tim's probably going to be about that threshold here next lap. But Trevor Vaden, Jordan Walker, your top two at the moment. There is absolutely no way that they can make it without at least one more pit stop in this race. When they pitted back on lap 20, that means they're going to have to go 52 laps. And our forecast only shows 40 laps on the distance for fuel mileage. Just got past the halfway mark, so just under 35 laps to go now. Gonna do a brief pause here to record, save the halfway point. And we're halfway through the chase too. It's gonna be race 5 of 10 here in the chase. We're hoping maybe even another race tomorrow night so that we can get a kind of a head start on when I move here. Yep, there we go. Tim Kourting turned a 120.6, and his fastest lap was a 120.508. So start.
Finishing that lap.
That's actually kind of scary. The two TV teammates there, 120.283 from Jordan Walker, and a 120.419 from Trevor Vaden, and neither of those are the fastest lap. Tim Kourting, his fastest lap being a 120.508. He just turned another 120.6. And fastest lap in this race was a 120.252 from Trevor Walker.
We could see him catch up as the run goes on.
I'm half expecting to see that fastest lap start to change hands here a little bit. Tim Kourting, I think, has a little bit more in the tank that he's not showing. It does seem to go hand in hand. If you're going faster, you are burning more fuel and kind of burning through your tires a little faster. Meanwhile, in the area right there in front of him, it's a 4-dog fight for top 5 position. 6th place there, Chaz Chadwick looking on. Ooh, and that's another. That's one of those early stoppers we saw at lap 20. He's having to come in on lap 38. So unless they're trying to do this like I'm thinking they're going to do it, Fastnot might not pit again. He might just be taking these early stops so that he can shuffle out in front of the leaders when his lap time starts to fall off. It's definitely a fascinating strategy here. Maybe not a winning strategy. Oh, the 10 of Jordan Walker as well down pit road, and the 20 of Trevor Vaden. So the only way that they're going to win this race is if they stay out for the last 33 laps here. Which we know for a fact with Tim Kourting, he was able to go 33 laps without pitting. So it should be safe to assume that these guys could do the same.
Is this lap traffic for him, or? Yes.
It's going to be positions. So he just now rejoined the racing surface. He's going to be fighting for 28th as he's sitting, or 27th, because he'll be 28th. Trevor Vaden actually came out much further ahead of Jordan Walker here. He's going to be running in 26th, fighting for 25th. So now you're going to start to see where this will shuffle back around to Tim Kourting. Tasha's back up into the top 10 after those drivers took their pit stops there. Her and Tom Kourting going to try to make the move again on the 32 of James Gunner. Tom goes low, makes the 32 go wide. Tasha on the attack here, 32 racing aggressively on the inside. Tasha's got the preferred line through that turn. Now she's going to have the not so preferred line going through this turn. Under attack now by the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. She needs to find an opening again. Here we go. Gonna let the horsepower carrier pass the 85. Long front stretch here at Kyalami as they go tearing down. Right by the grandstands here. Or what should be the grandstands had I not disabled all the background objects. So that puts Trevor Walker in 4th, Tim Kourting in 3rd, Alan Malcolm your leader over Chaz Chadwick. So a bit of a shake-up there. And as it stands right now, this would be all the drivers in order from 1st through 4th, needing to get the amount of points that they need in kind of the urgency in the order. Alan Malcolm, one of the deeper drivers amongst the top 6. He needs to beat the other top 5 and is doing that right now. So Malcolm sits 7th in the points, and he's beaten everyone that he needs to. Chaz Chadwick sits 4th in the points, and he's pretty much beating everyone he needs to. Tim Kourting is beating Trevor Walker and Jordan Walker. And then Trevor Walker, right there behind him, is beating his brother Jordan Walker. Tim Kourting might actually try to make a pass here on Chaz Chadwick for 2nd. And that's quite a unique place to get the momentum. He was looking like he was going to make the pass entering the front stretch here.
I
Chadwick.
think he thought better of it there because of the fact the pit lane is right there. And if he would have tried to pass Chadwick and Chadwick would have had to pit, that could have been real bad. But here's the pass now.
Yeah, good call to hold off until the end of the front stretch there. That's where we've seen him making the passes all day so far. And now P2, Tim Kourting. So it looks like, yeah, we've got an east-west, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 5th is west. And I can't remember if Tom's on the west side, or is he? He's on the east side, I think.
I believe so, yes.
Yes, because Tim's running on the west this year.
Yep.
They definitely flip-flop because it was vice versa last year.
I would like to make a note there, though. You might want to go back and look and see who made it into the top 10 on that. After all that.
Tasha running in 8th. She's still fighting tooth and nail there with the 85 of DeBlanc. Top 10, though, got Gannon Bird running right there at the tail end of the top 10, but all the KVM entries for this race in the top 10 right now. Here comes Zach Magoon in the 51. This is a tight battle for the top 10th position. That's where we've seen a mistake today. That 59 got a little bit loose, a little bit sideways. Still only one retirement here tonight, the 87 of Al Bunch. That's going to really knock him out of contention in the championship battle. San Vital, man, we could be looking at him being one of the stout title contenders rolling into the last 5 races. Sits top 5 in the points right now, running 5th here tonight. Unfortunately for him, not beating the 4 drivers in front of him, but he's going to keep them from totally walking away with too many points here tonight. Yeah, I think we're going to see the 90 make his big move here shortly. Take back that lead.
Well, and the thing to remember is Tim doesn't have to pit again.
Well, and I'm anticipating that the AI are still going to pit. They're going to run. We saw him run 34 laps, so he's probably going to pit lap 68, which is scary to think. But the other drivers are going to have to pit on the same stretch that they do, and it's going to kind of rotate out weird. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm expecting the unexpected right now, and it's going to be crazy. But logistically, yes, they should be good to go all the way to the finish without having to pit again. Yeah, so what's going to be the telling tale? We should see them at least make it to lap 68. But the problem for some of the other drivers like Vaden and Walker, we're going to see them have to come down again on lap 60 if the AI are truly sticking to their guns on their fuel windows. So I'm going to check back with these guys on lap 60, and we'll have to keep an eye on the leaders around lap 68. Tim at the moment just kind of setting up for the attack here, it seems, on Alan Malcolm. We also saw Trevor Walker trying to set up the 18 to get the pass done there too. Might see a double whammy here. We might see these two both try to execute a move down the front stretch. '21 and the 90, they're going to get that draft to their advantage here as they run down the hill. 90 is definitely closing up on the 9 there. It doesn't look like he's going to have enough to make the move this time. Whoa, whoa. So what say you, James? You like the road course here in Kyalami?
I think so, yeah. I think if we maybe do some editing before we roll back around here to Kyalami and maybe make them a little bit racier, it'll be a little bit more interesting. But other than that, this is some fun racing.
I love that we have the one spot right here. This long front stretch is kind of the highlight zone. And you don't often get those highlight zones at any road courses. I've had so many road courses where it is truly a follow the leader affair from the start to the finish.
Yeah, I just feel like there's like maybe one, maybe two other spots we can get them to try to do something with, you know?
Right. Yeah, there's opportunities to pass around this track.
Like, I like that they don't bother trying to make a pass through here.
Yeah, we saw it go wrong for one driver.
But I don't mind if they were to try to set something up through there, or even through this section of corners here. I wouldn't mind them setting something up. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's right there. It's almost getting to that point where they're making it without edits to the track.
Well, and I think that'll come with part of it will come with, having more cars that are tighter together.
And the one thing, if I remember right, that I found is panic decel, which is the deceleration, the AI attribute to panic. And if they get panicked, they decelerate sooner or later, depending on how you have that setting tweaked. And usually you want to have it right at the cusp of running into their back bumper. And if you have the panic decel with, I think there's another one that edits the passing ability or the draft ability. But messing around with some of those is allowed for, kind of almost bump draft racing it at a road course, which gets kind of entertaining to watch after a while. Tim Kourting trying everything he can to get up onto that 9 truck. 22 laps to go in this one. Let's look through the rest of the field and see who's all running where. Tasha's in 9th, Gannon Bird, Aunt Me Person, Guido Piano up into the top 15.
There's what we were talking about right there.
That was almost a move executed there through that turn segment. Spin'em Walker here fighting against Adam Cruz for 16th, 15th, and 16th. There we have Trevor Vaden, who had pitted back on lap 38. He's kind of cruised back through the field, halfway through the field, back up into the top 20. And let's see where Bradley Ream is last in the points. Where is he running on track here, I wonder? Ooh, 27th. So he might make up some points relative to his competition, but still not an ideal day for that 40 team. Here we go, Tim trying it again down the long hill stretch here. This track used to host Formula One races back in the 70s. There had been scuttlebutt recently that they might try to return to the venue. The venue still exists, kind of in its, its old glory as it stands right now. Would be kind of cool to see this track brought back onto the schedule for some form of racing. I think they probably still run racing events there, but nothing of, the universal or like national sports world of racing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Regional stuff, probably. Which there's nothing wrong with it. That's what keeps the professional world alive.
Right.
Like Malcolm's gonna get out of Tim's way here, as we come to how many to go now? 20 to go.
So we've seen, yeah, Tim Kourting was able to stretch it to lap 34. This is all kind of playing out to where Tim should be pitting again on lap 68. Because we basically saw these three stay out on the long stretch last time. It's just minus a driver now. That's actually kind of funny to think about. The top three trucks right now, those are all probably kind of some of the leading manufacturers that have figured out hybrid technology. Could they perhaps be utilizing a hybrid technology on these three trucks at the front of the field?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Shh, don't tell the Sigma officials.
Well, there we go. Chaz Chadwick not able to stretch it near as long as his last stint. So some of the stints getting a little bit shorter for some of our top contenders here. Probably more of an attrition rate thing than anything. These guys having to pit a little bit earlier to maybe get back in line with those that did the undercut. They don't want to let them get too far out ahead of them. This would make me go crazy being a strategist for these teams. It's like we have Trevor Vaden out there who could potentially run all the way to the finish, and he's either going to pit again on lap 60 or he's not. So we need to figure out a time to go down pit road or not. It's crazy. Look through the field here, that 20 truck's probably in the top 10. Yeah, up to 6th. Jordan Walker in 7th. But what's yet to be seen is if they have to pit again on lap 60 or not. Trevor Walker dipping down pit road. Tim Kourting staying out. So it's not going to be quite what I anticipated, where we would see Tim Kourting stretching it to lap 64, but it's maybe going to be good enough here if he can even make it 1 or 2 more laps to come down pit road with about 15 to go.
It's looking more and more like he might stay out and just make it to the end here.
Yeah, his lap time's nowhere near the 2.5 seconds that he had been off last time when he had stayed out for 34 laps.
Well, I don't think he had to fight as much. I think this time he just had to save.
Yep, staying out this lap. So that number 90 playing the strategy game perhaps to perfection here tonight. Or maybe utilizing some technology that allows them to save more fuel. I'm sure that that technology is actually the driver's foot and not some mysterious extra parts on the actual vehicle. As it stands under this long green flag, this long stint here, there are 31 trucks on the lead lap during green flag pit stops. Starting to hear some slight stumbles there, so I'm not sure if that's just the game lag or not, but he's going to stay out another lap here too. This is where we need to start watching that 20 and 10 truck to see if they're actually going to be able to push it all the way to the finish. No way.
Oh, they're both going to have to come back in.
So those two have not been getting the fuel mileage they needed. This is going to get them to the finish, but it's going to put them way out of the top 10.
I want to know what Tim's going to do now.
I don't think Tim's got to do anything. That was the only two that he had any concern over.
I'm not going to lie. I forgot for a second that their pit boxes were so far in. And I was like, oh no, did they just have to serve a penalty?
Yeah, I think they
They pitted. They stopped. their boxes were super late.
Yep.
Yeah, see.
Well, holy cow, man. And I'll see now if Tim Kourting is going to be down pit road or if he's going to stay out another lap. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow, I thought they were going down pit road there. Oh, Vaden almost made contact with Chris Harvey. That looked scary. You were watching that live as it was happening. That could have been tumultuous for our leader. Damn, Tim's going to try to stretch it to lap 60 at least. And pretty much just going to be able to do a gas and go.
I don't know. I think he has plenty of time to do a full service. He might do full service and get out in time.
Yeah, because now he doesn't have to worry about Vaden and Jordan to take back over that lead. It's kind of shuffled back out to the same two drivers at the end of the stint. Yep, Tim Kourting, lap 59. That was a stellar run from the 90, and I think it's going to put him back right in front of the lead because your next driver in line, second place, is going to be the 77. Oh, he must have got passed already because it's going to be Trevor Walker and Alan Malcolm here.
I just keep the camera on him. Let's see what happens.
They were 39 seconds back. It's about 40 seconds for a pit stop here at Kyalami. Dude, this is going to be some of the most craziest Formula One shit I've ever seen in a USA Trucks race. It's going to be so close. I think we're going to see him rolling off the track right there. He's going to rejoin in fourth, but it's with fresher tires, full tank of gas. That truck is ready to fight for the win now. Man, if he could have...
He's got nobody near him.
If he could have came in one lap earlier, I think he probably would have had the lead. These guys on older tires already, that's going to start to factor in. What I think this benefits, though, is Tasha. Tasha should be up in the top 10 with ease here. Got Tom Kourting in 6th. You got Tasha running in 8th. Guido Piano, the miracle story, could stay alive here, as currently we've had the number 19 in victory lane. Well, the champion of our ARCA series was the number 19 of Wyatt Wilkinson. Number 19 was the champion in Bridge to Cup with Bradley Ream. We just need this truck series to go to Guido Piano, and we would have the most unique scenario here in 2024 with our ladder system. Each champion being in the number 19 seat. It would be a strange anomaly if Atlee Weiss could turn it on in the Cup Series and start to catch up to Al Bunch for the championship too. Okay, so it's obviously taken Tim a few laps to get warmed up here. Those tires cold, rolling off pit lane. Maybe another lap and he'll be right back in contention with the lap times. And even if it doesn't come out to be a victory, I'd say top 5 regardless is still a great day. But we we do got to start looking at their fuel numbers. The number 9 was last on pit road on lap 52. If you go further back from 52, his other pit stop was lap 32.
He might not make it. They might pit on the last lap.
He's going to have no fuel left in the tank on the last lap unless they're going to push it. So it's going to be tight. These next 11 laps are going to be huge. Tim Kourting has clear track, so it's going to be all on him to make up that lap time. Currently 5 seconds back after the pit stop. If he can start knocking it off by about, even about 0.8 a lap, it's going to be right within range for him. In the meantime, Trevor Vaden and Jordan Walker, which has just been a rough go for Trevor Vaden. I mean, he has not been able to accumulate as many points as he would desire in the chase here. Looks like he might be able to recover for potentially a top 15, running 16th at the moment. Jordan Walker, however, back in 20th, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to get a top 15 out of the day. Still only one retirement in the race here, and we do have lap traffic falling into the clutches of our leaders. This could be exactly what Tim Kourting dialed up to get that that deficit to start shrinking in his favor. Unfortunately for Tim, it's looking like they might catch him at an opportunity to make a pass on him down the front stretch here. We'll see. There, it's gonna be a roadblock. They're not gonna catch him in time to make the move down the front stretch here. As they catch him, it's gonna be going right into the turn, and it's gonna be kind of a roadblock. That 76 of Shy Turtle gonna hold up the leaders here briefly, as Tim Kourting still needs to make up 5.6 seconds on the leaders.
Would you say Shy Turtle's being a very good turtle?
He's being a very good turtle. Gotta kind of factor in the fact that he's a Chevy, maybe a little bit of kind of a nod to Kourting Brothers' move to Chevy next year here. This should slow up these guys' lap times in the top 3 there. What this is ultimately going to do is it's going to upset all 3 of these trucks, not just the leader. Once the leader, if they happen to get around him, the others are going to have to deal with it as well. 21 had to figure out which line to take there. The 76 was blocking the line. Alan Malcolm turned a 121.1. Ooh, and that almost gave an opening for the 21 to take the lead from his teammate there. Yeah, Tim Kourting turns a 120.6, so he knocks out nearly a full second on the leader. chops it down to just right at about 5.1 seconds. Another rough race for Jordan Walker. This points battle is just going to continue to keep getting tighter and tighter up till the final race in our chase. Trevor Vaden still hasn't made it up into the top 15. Could very likely happen that we might have some more of these drivers pit before the end of it. Damn, Jordan Walker blistered a lap. He turned a 120.1. That is the fastest lap in the race so far. So the three-stopper actually kind of working out in their favor. They're just having to come through the field harder here in the closing laps. It was hard to tell what was going to be the winning strategy from the start of the race. I mean, you might have had a potential caution that shook things up, but to no avail. They did not get that caution as things stayed green from the start up to this point so far. Another Kourting brothers move up through the field here as we have Tom now into 5th. These three out front, they're making it harder and harder for Tim to actually lock down the win here tonight. We'll see if Tim can strike gold here on getting by the 76 ASAP.
Oh, he's gaining on him still, though.
Down to 4.6 seconds, so. And he ain't gonna get held up much here by Shy Turtle. He's gonna strike right about the right time to make the move and not get held up for too long. I can tell very well that my computer has reached the cusp of
It's limit.
It's getting its paces in right now. Harry's making the move on Shy Turtle there. I'm hoping I can find at least a camera angle that we can, oh no.
You're dying on my end too, bud. You might want to make a save. You might want to make a save so we can come back.
Well, I think what I'm gonna do. Dude, it's so close. We're so close. Half hesitant to save better cautions or any of that stuff. That's
Honestly, I would pause it. Pause it so I can take a rest.
Tim is making. We'll just kind of follow it like this. I wonder which camera has the least. I'm sorry, folks. This has literally never happened before. This is
Yeah, I would honestly go pause it and just get rid of better cautions for now. Because I don't think we're going to need it.
See, what I'm afraid of is even pulling out of the game is what worries me.
Yeah. Especially when they have 3 to go.
At least we're here. We're getting to see 8 to 10 frames per second at the max with a buffer. A buffer every so often is actually doing better when it's in a mini screen like this. And we can keep an eye on the deficits as we're going here. So Alan Malcolm leads over Trevor Walker, Chaz Chadwick. But the big deal here is Tim Kourting has closed the gap down to 3.58 seconds.
I don't think he has enough time to get there, though.
Well, we don't know if Alan Malcolm's going to pit or run out of gas on the last lap. We know that Trevor Walker and Chaz Chadwick are kind of in the same boat, those top 3. Definitely see all 3 of them right there in the front view on Tim Kourting's bumper cam here. All he's got to do is catch up to him. He's got tires about 10 laps fresher than them. So if he can catch him on the front stretch on lap 71 right here, he's 3.2 seconds, so not enough gain there. He needs to actually gain about 3 seconds this next lap to be in the mix. Now the big question is Alan Malcolm going to be able to make it to the finish, or is he going to run out of fuel? What about Trevor Walker and Chaz Chadwick, who are sitting there second and third right behind him? This is the closest that Tim Kourting has been since that last stretch of green flag pit stops. You can see they're not as small in his front view. This is lap 71 of 72, so still technically 2 laps to go. As next time around it'll be the white flag.
Oh, we could see him.
Things are starting to clear up a little bit here. realize this is like watching a NASCAR race when they go to commercial break, that they put up the small screen. Yes, this is where I said he should be on the last lap. If he can be right near them on the long front stretch, he needs to be a little bit closer here. I don't like how far he is still from those top three to make this work. But you can really see those tires that he's on are way faster than the leaders. Our leaders have used up their tires, and Tim Kourting on the 10 laps fresher tires starting to close that gap. White flag waving in the air. 2.5 seconds still the gap from him to the leader.
I don't think he has enough to get it done.
He might be able to get, oh, there's a truck pulling off pit road. That was an unexpected. Well, that might help. If he's got faster tires, he might get side by side with your top three and allow Tim Kourting to pick them off one by one. That is the 40 of Bradley Ream right there in front of Tim Kourting right now. Come off pit road, I'm assuming, with fresh tires.
There still is that chance we see our top three just exit stage right as we come to the pit lane.
We're on cam here with Bradley Ream to see what our lead three end up doing here on the last lap. As the flag
I don't think they will, but
reaches for the checkered flag. These three are going to come roaring down the front stretch. They stay out. They're going to stay on the track. And it's going to be Alan Malcolm with the win here tonight. Chadwick with third. Tim Kourting just getting alongside Bradley Ream on the last lap, as that's the lap truck in the way. Great night for Kourting Brothers Motorsports as they come home 4th, 5th, and 6th.
yeah, great night for them tonight.
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
Sasha got
Ninth?
hopscotched on the last lap there, unfortunately.
That's all right. Still a great finish for Tasha tonight. Finishing ninth.
Might have to watch the replay on where she was up to 6th there. That was the best she had been, I think, all night.
You might have to go back and grab us a snippet of that after everything and put it as a short.
So this points battle definitely has gotten tighter.
Well, you have to, yeah, I have to wonder if that doesn't put Tim at the top. Because Jordan finishes 14 and
Well, Trevor was the other one.
Trevor finishes
second.
11th. Oh, yep, second. I didn't
Trevor.
see him finishing second there.
So it's going to be between Tim and
Yeah.
Trevor Walker, I think, if the...
Yep. It might. I think Trevor gets it because he was ahead heading in. He only had a 7-point deficit, whereas Tim had a 20. So it might be Trevor at the top, Tim in second, and Jordan in third.
And the crazy part is Jordan Walker keeps defying the odds. Whenever he has a bad race, it's going to usually come down to his lead lap points or anything else if he were on the pole. Of course, the pole position went to Tim Kourting here today, so that's not going to be... Man, look at all the trucks out of gas on this last lap.
Yeah.
Everyone's just rolling around on the backside of the track after the fact, rolling on fumes,
It's a good thing we don't have a rule about that or anything.
right? trucks, all of them out of gas on the last lap here.
Like a bunch of cows on the street. Gotta love the safety worker just floating in the sky.
Well, we lucked out, even though the frame rate hit the proverbial wall there. And congrats to Alan Malcolm, another chase contender getting a win here during the chase. It's been a very interesting chase so far, and points will get tallied up here within probably 24 hours, and we'll definitely have a huge topic on this points battle as we're only halfway through the chase. It's gonna be one for the record books, James.
I think so too. I think we're gonna have a very interesting championship coming down to the last 5 races here.
Guido Piano with an 8 that just recertified his bid for the championship battle, as he had a tough couple races to fall backwards, but now he's gonna be working his way back up into the mix. All of our other chase contenders that struggled a little bit still found their way up towards the front at the end. Jordan Walker still came home in the top 20. Trevor Vaden with a top 15. But mad kudos for everyone else that finished in the top 10. Tasha, that's probably her career best so far. Kind of like you were saying, that the point standings on the website, which is just going off of points alone from the chase, it's a completely different picture because it doesn't involve the chase points that people had accounted for during the regular season. So, yeah, Tim's like at the top of the board there, and I think Tasha's actually working her way as one of the few drivers is getting, a lot of points during this chase, but may not be, in the contention for the championship itself. Well, that's a wrap for this race. What you got left to say for tonight, James?
I think it's gonna be a very, very interesting next 5 races, and I look forward to seeing what happens.
If you're free tomorrow, you want to try to hop on for that stream too?
Yeah, if I'm available. If
Okay.
I'm not doing anything.
That one will be at Twin Ring Motegi for race 6 in the chase.
I'm guessing
And
that's the oval.
yeah, yep, the oval. So this was one of the, I think, the last road courses that we had, because we had the one in Australia at Calder Park, and then we had this one here tonight at Kyalami. And the rest is either ovals or super speedways. Kind of a mixture of intermediate to short track to super speedway to close it out here in the last 4 races. So awesome. Congrats yet again to Alan Malcolm getting that win here tonight. Trevor Ventures comes out on top yet again, but it wasn't without a little bit of adversity from the rest of the teams fighting for that championship. So have a good night, folks. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. This is Jakester and James